Nasdaq up 4.3% so far this week means I have made a lot of profit, and hopefully you have done so too. I'm not surprised, and hopefully you are not surprised, because I told you this would happen in the last few weeks podcasts, and I bought into several shares. I have been selling a few of them now to take some profit. In this week's podcast, I will tell you what I think will happen next week. I will reveal one candidate which I think is a really good buy at the current level, a company with a super interesting history. You are listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, trading tips with Jim, as we head into week 16.
Goes the market clock. Bulls run wild, bears don't talk. Up or down, it's a coin flip game. Buy low, sell high, don't lose your grip. Stay sharp, stay fast on this trading trip. It's trading tips with Jim. Win or learn, never gim. Stack your knowledge to the brim. Tune in now, let's begin.
A few podcasts back I told you now I'm buying because everyone is selling. It's absolutely where I buy. And I had two such phenomenal weeks, raking in a lot of profit on trades. Usually I do not trade too much. I like more investing style, being longer into different companies. But as I told you in some of the previous podcasts, this opportunity is too good to not let be, so I bought it. I took several profits yesterday, actually, in several companies, and to mention one, for instance, as I told you, I think American Airlines is an absolutely good buy. I started to buy at 14 because this I like in the long term. I think they are properly undervalued in long term. I bought some stocks at 14, then I bought much more at $10 when it dropped very hard, and now it popped up to above $12. About $12 I sold several of the shares because I think there will be a slight fall, and I will just buy back. But that's an example of what I did with American Airlines, and then there is several other companies too. A company which I mentioned last week, for instance, Starbucks at $90. It's such a bargain, and Starbucks went up almost $7 so far this week to $96.92. Of course, profit. Anyway, the week ahead was to understand why I think as I do. Let me just recap a little bit. In the long-term trend, Nasdaq did find the bottom exactly at the trend lines where it was supposed to turn. It turned, been pushing upwards, currently has been breaking the short-term moving average, the long-term moving average, giving buy signals from both of them, which is a good thing. But the upturn comes very fast. In the long-term chart, it still shows that it should push upwards to 25,000 points or more. Relative strength index is not particularly high. Everything is indicating that we are still within a rising trend. At Nasdaq, we had a correction, totally natural one, and now we will start to continue to push upwards within the trend. The fund will start when we get over 24,000 points, because up till then it's a lot of resistance. But we are more occupied about what will happen next week, and to try to guess what will happen next week, we go to the short-term chart, and in the short-term chart we can clearly see that Nasdaq been pushing straight up, finding a bottom just above 20,800, pushing straight up, currently sitting at 22,800 something, I believe. So it's already up 2,000 points. But I'm breaking buy signals for the short term and the long term also in the short term chart. So good signals, but upturn is too strong. Volume been falling in the last few days despite the market going up. It's a typical sign of reaction, opposite reaction to come. It's an early warning. But with very good support around 22,000, here is what I think. I think market will be sideways with a high chance of being red last week. It should go down to 22,000 points for Nasdaq, falling 800 points. Bounce up somewhere around this level, and then continue upwards. Everything can happen within a week. It may very well be that it happens on Monday, Tuesday, then end in positive on Friday. Absolutely fair chance, but I evaluate to be a possible slow week. How have I planned to utilize this? Well, as I told you before Christmas, that I've been reducing. I reduced my portfolio. I said this before Christmas. I'm reducing my portfolio because I don't expect much of Q1. But when markets were falling and we're getting to the end of Q1, I told you that I'm now getting back in and putting more into my market. Then yesterday, actually Wednesday and Thursday, yesterday and the day before, I reduced again a little bit. This was just profit securing. My plan is to continue to increase my holdings into the market because I think markets will be very strong second half of this year. Now, next week, I will look for opportunities to get back into some of the shares, which I took a little profit in now. I've been mentioning shares which I'm very, very interested in, and of course American Airlines is one. I still have some American Airlines shares. I just took out some profit because I believe that I can get a little better by currently 11.37, and I think it should be a fair chance to get some stocks again down at the 10 level, at least I hope so. If I'm wrong and it gets back to 12, I have no problem buying above 12 because I believe in the stock in the long term. Anyway, Dollar General is one company that I absolutely are looking for positions in. I'm getting positions and I will continue to get more positions. Lulu is another stock which I'm getting position into. Starbucks, I told you so much about Starbucks, and take a little profit, then I get back in. Anything below 90 is a super buy in Starbucks. Starbucks is, by the way, reorganizing their business model, dropping a lot of coffee chains. They have to do that in order to get their profits back up, but I think they will. Chip Bottle is, of course, one stock which I have been speaking a lot about. I am also in that one. I bought Tesla, as I told you, get Tesla under $370. Now I will start to buy. Tesla currently sitting at $345, and I have slightly been buying positions, and I will continue. I'm not finished with the amount of shares that I want in Tesla. I'm not sure Tesla will turn here. It can, as I said last week, it can fall to 300. There is no reason why it shouldn't. There is no reason why it should pop up from this level. Because markets decide, and markets may absolutely be against Tesla. What you currently see is some of the bigger companies, the major 7, they are gaining back some momentum. Some money is flowing there. For instance, NIO, which is the $1,000 challenge, have been up at 660 this week, but yesterday ending at 607. And that's a really good candidate for everyone, but money's been following the bigger companies lately. I believe that, as I said, that Tesla can continue downwards. Will not be surprised, but that's even better because then I will get the shares cheaper. And come again, now let's say that Tesla goes up. I will not hesitate to buy Tesla shares if Tesla get to 370, despite being 345. You may ask, so why don't you buy now? I do not know where Tesla will go. I want to see a much clearer direction. Right now, Tesla is under pressure, so there is absolutely no reason why I should buy now. It's a higher chance that I can get some stocks cheaper. But if I'm wrong and it turns here, goes for an upturn streak. I saw a lot of people arguing that now they should start to buy Tesla, etc. And if it starts to go up, it starts to get a better trend. Absolutely no worry if I lose a few percent in the bottom. I'm not trying to hit the bottom. Get that out of your mind. You want to be close to the bottom. That is the best tip I can give you. And usually I buy 3 times. I buy, if I want a stock, I divide my purchase amount into 3, and I buy in 3 separate batches. I'm lucky to be in that kind of situation where I have enough cash to do this with some purpose and meaning. but it works very well. I invest 3 times. Sometimes I get the lowest and I buy 2 times a little higher. Sometimes I buy high and then get lower. Happened with NEO. You just have to rewind back to the previous podcast to hear all about that. One thing that tells us very much how market will move is the buy and the sell signals, and across all the tickers that analyze, 30% is now getting buy signals after going up from 17 last week. But this, as I said, is not high at all. More interesting is Nasdaq. Nasdaq is up from 11 to 17, and Nasdaq, along with Chess and China, is the 2 exchanges with the lowest amount of buy signals, telling me that there is still plenty opportunities in Nasdaq, and this is one of the things which I will utilize. New York Stock Exchange, for instance, went from 20 to 35% buy signals. If we start to get above 40 like Oslo, it starts to become a little high, and it's a higher chance that market will continue downwards. Tokyo still 25. As I said, Chess and China 14 after going up from 13 last week. London 32%, also nice increase. All markets went up on the Iran news, the ceasefire news. Market pushed upwards. Oil is sitting still high. Had the highest drop in what was it, 25 years or something, when it fell more than 16% in a single day after Trump announced peace deal. But still high. I, as I said, personally believe oil will be very cheap. My guess is after the summer, oil will be down at $40. I'm very well invested into oil-related stocks, but more on the freight side. Gold stayed more or less the same, 4,773, holding strong during the week. The 10-year Treasury yield, 429, is a very important one, because if this goes down, stock markets usually go up. It went a little down from 432, but there is a very strong correlation with this one. Another bet which I have is that the dollar will strengthen. I bought dollars at 120, it got down to 114, currently pushing back to 117. A lot of people disagree with my view. Many think dollar will go to 1.3 against euro, meaning that euro will be stronger. They think interest rates will stay high in Europe, and I don't know. A European economy is nothing to brag about. I think it will be more and more clear for everyone how strong US economy really is. The reason it went down to 114 is when there is some sort of war, people go to dollar. We had the BRICS thing. This is also something which I spoke in length about 5 years ago, how dollar would get under pressure because of the things the previous administration in the United States did, forcing BRICS countries, etc., to be much more aggressive. And one example of this, for instance, is what they try to get when you can be sanctioned and they actually can freeze your assets and all of these things. You don't want to sit in the assets that typically, or the trading systems, monetary systems that can enable freezing your money. So the BRICS countries, Brazil, India, Russia, etc., they have their own payment system. They are moving more over to yuan. And if we take, for instance, one news that came out last, I guess it was Monday, early this week. So Iran, for instance, they want their payments for boats going through Hormuz Strait. They want $1 per barrel, but paid in Bitcoin. Oh, there you go. Just an example how the dollar was abused as a weapon, and with massive debt, it is under threat. But I believe dollar will strengthen simply because US has an economy that is building up at an insane speed. Underneath the hood, you will read more about it in news that will follow. High oil prices mean inflation should again start to move a little up. This is very interesting thing, because as I said, I thought first quarter would be bad one, with the high chance that second wouldn't be as much, so maybe even first half year of 2026 would be slow. And currently with the high oil prices, that is is a case. So see oil price drop, and I believe that you will see stock markets going up, except Oslo Stock Exchange, which is an oil exchange. I started the podcast saying that there is one very, very interesting company which I think is a good buy, and they released quarter results yesterday and moved up 8% yesterday. Is BlackBerry, but I've been speaking about BlackBerry before. And if you really want to watch a good movie, watch the movie about BlackBerry. It is indeed funny to watch. And you learn a very, very nice lesson. It is how a super big company, the biggest of them all, can lose everything over a single decision, touchscreen or not. We'll not go into detail. But BlackBerry Limited have changed all their business approach, revoked reverted things, reworked things. And as I said, I think maybe it should be 8 months ago in another podcast, this is a company that you absolutely should keep on your watch list, because I think they can come back with a roar. BlackBerry BB is absolutely one company that you should put on your list. In a software system that I made that predict future prices, I used the instance for this for NEO. I've been using it for several companies, where you try to look at what analysts believe, what the fundamentals says, and a lot of different items. You come up with a future possible price. BlackBerry was among the top companies for nice returns. Take a company like NEO, for instance. My systems which I made indicated that NEO probably should be up around some $20 in 14 to 18 months. And now I see more and more analysts are coming up with the same sort of figures. And that brings us to the very last item of this messy little podcast episode, NEO and the $1,000 challenge. I will not change anything. We will still sit in NEO. NEO is currently at $6.07. It was up at some $6.63 yesterday and then suddenly fell. But that is just because people put money into the bigger ones like Google, like Microsoft. Money went into these bigger companies yesterday. But I think they will easily find their way back to NEO, because now more and more say that, look at NEO, what a good case it is. It still needs more momentum, but the trend is forming for a stronger and stronger trend. And once a stock starts to get into absolutely strong trend, they can move very, very fast. Patiently waiting for that to happen, so we can grow the $1,000 challenge much faster. Dropped from $4,400 something last week to $4,273.63 so far this week. Will be sitting in NEO. And if you are not in NEO and you wonder if 607 is a high price or not, well, it may fall back to 550. You do not have any guarantees, because just take a very, very bad day. NEO is highly volatile and it will drop. I saw one analyst drop by Bloomberg said they believe the floor is $480 and the roof is $22, meaning that they think that the stock will not go below $480 and it can go as high as almost $22. What else is there to say? I don't think that we should waste your time, my time. Hopefully I will be back next week with a new podcast. And more than anything, and as usual, I hope that your portfolio will be much greener by the end of the next week. And hopefully you learned this time that when you are most scared, is probably when you should buy, not sell. Until next time, have a good week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.US. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.